Great, I'm gonna start streaming. Huh? I do. Hello, hello. How's everyone working today? That was loud. Okay, so we're here on a Tuesday. I have 5 days of school left, like 4.5. And I'm just kind of floating through it at this point. So the plan for tonight is to attach granny squares. We're just going to be stitching through, doing some chatting. I'll explain the processes that I'm doing. And I'm hoping we can get this singular granny square attached to this row, and then we're going to combine two rows together. That make sense? It does to me. So, supplies. I have a plastic darning needle. I have a Red Heart Super Saver. This is in buff, and I'm not sure what this blue color is. And then, oh, lots of these plastic. I can't think of the name right now. Stitch counters. A bunch of these, because that's what I'm using to kind of line up the squares. And I think that's everything we need today. Oh, and snips. Get my trusty snips. Okay. Background music today. I don't know why it's not showing. Where did it go? Let's move that up. Order. Move up. Where did it go? There we go. That is on YouTube, Solace Crossing. I've explained those guys before to you. It's like a lo-fi beats kind of channel with a Animal Crossing twist. And you guys can hear the squeaky beats of my dog. All right, so first jobs first. I need to combine these two. And I need to make sure I'm putting right sides together, because I don't think that's the way I've got it pinned. There we go. Right sides together. So how I connect granny squares is that I put a stitch through both back loops. So it's the loop that's closest to you and the loop that's farthest away from you when you're putting same sides together. I'm not sure what that stitch is. I think it might be called mattress stitch, but I'm not 100% on that. Okay, so let's just get this baby stitched together, and then we can start on the rows, which is going to be a long haul. So how is everybody's Tuesday going? I actually took a day off of work yesterday. I was so allergy filled. I had such a sore throat. I just took meds and slept all day. Today's a little better. I was sneezing a lot at work, but when I got home, it's not too bad. I think part of it, oh my gosh, jeez Louise. I think part of it, in addition to like just a general pollen, is that everybody at work is packing up and the dust is flying all over the place. So I'm thinking that's what's really bothering me. Because when I get home, I'm okay. I really like this music. Okay. So yeah, I've got 4.5 school days left. Tomorrow's a field trip and a cookout with the local police and fire department. And then there's a talent show on Thursday. Friday's no school because of Juneteenth. And then next week's a field trip on Monday to go bowling. Tomorrow's a field trip. And I'm hoping I don't get too sunburned. Okay. That connection is done. Leave it long enough so I can weave in. I am super thirsty today. So this first round of drinks is orange Gatorade. All right. So what are we doing now? We are combining 2 rows. So you guys can kind of see what I've got going on here. I have 2 rolls of my rows, and I've pinned them together every few squares because they're not all exactly the same size. As much as I would love that to be true, I'm a human being. I make mistakes, and I deal with them. So we're stitching same rows together. And we're just going to go one by one all the way across, making sure I try to join correctly the corners. And I've got a lot of Red Heart Super Saver buff over here. That's what I'm going to be using to join these rows. And I'm already losing stuff. There it is. Okay. Get comfy. My students were asking me today, do you have any plans for the summer? Well, I'm working a lot. Pretty much all of July I'm working. August I'll have some time off. Not as much as I usually do because I'm teaching extended school years in July. And then I'm teaching, it's technically 4 students, but one of them are siblings. So I have 3 tutoring sessions. I have one that's still in the mix trying to get scheduled. And those will go on pretty much till school restarts. And I believe that's the last week in August. I did give myself some time. I'm not starting tutoring until after February. After July 4th. So I'm giving myself until then. Even though I'm working some school, the tutoring, I'm just going to give myself a break until school starts. I think I want to redo this because I usually go from right to left, and right now I'm going left to right, and it's goofing me out. Frog, 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 frog. I'm trying to save as much yarn as I can. There we go. than not, right? Maybe. Okay, can I frog this now? Yes. Okay. So we're gonna rewind this. What did I do? Oh, I put it in the wrong part. They are being noisy girls today. Between the squeakies and the barkies. You can probably hear them running around. They're just having some fun. Okay. So let's rewind this. So I'm going in the other direction. I think this is better. And then these two will go like that. Okay. So the tricky part is figuring out which is the chain and which is the stitch and making sure I'm doing the same in both. I think I found it. All right, let's get stitching. Round 2. Oh yeah, this is a lot better. This is the way I usually do it. I don't know why I was doing it the other way. That's just weird. So same method as before. I'm using the back loops on both sides, which means I'm using the loop closest to me and the loop farthest away from me. And we're just going back and forth. Well, not back and forth, like looping around. I'm not doing like an S. I'm just looping. I just heard child voices, which probably means my dogs are going to go crazy in about 5 seconds. One of my students asked me to go to their baseball game tonight. I probably could have gone. And I probably will go this summer when they're not my students anymore. You got to be careful with that kind of stuff. I have so many kids that play baseball this year. It's just not something I've encountered before. Usually my kids are like either football players or soccer players. These guys are hardcore baseball players. And by hardcore, I mean like they're 9 years old and they're playing in these travel leagues, and it's like all-star leagues and all this stuff. All right, first round again. I'm trying to keep my work centered with you guys. So if it looks like I'm out of shot, just give me a shout. computer keeps wanting to go to sleep. I need to fix those settings. I didn't go through that one yet. I'm liking the way it looks. So this is my first attempt at a granny square blanket. I'm doing it a little different. I'm doing like 5 different types of panels, or squares, whatever you want to call them. I did my grandfather's sisters made these awesome granny square blankets with like the colored on the inside, and the border was black. That very much that style. I think my brothers have them now. I know for sure at least one of my brother does. I inherited a wave crochet blanket with different browns. That one's a bit itchy though. Okay, let's make sure these corners lined up. Yeah, so tomorrow I have a field trip with my 3rd graders, and we are taking a walk to a historical site in my town where it's the oldest schoolhouse in town. So we're going there. And it's within walking distance. I guess it's like a 10-minute walk. So I'm hoping I won't be out in the sun for that long. But I need to figure out what I'm wearing, because I don't want to get sunburned, and I also don't want to die of heat. So I'm thinking white t-shirt of some kind. And then I've got my arm sleeves that I'll cover my arms with. Look at us. We're making progress. Okay. Okay, to the end of this string. To swap it out soon. Oh, and then we get to weave in all the ends. I've been good, and I've been doing a lot of them as I've been going. But I think after we stitch all these together, I want to completely make sure that these 2 rows have no ends. All right, I'm going to tie this one off. Start on another. I do about 1.5 feet maybe. I don't want something like super long where I'm just fighting it. But I also don't want something that I have to change out every 5 minutes. almost to the next one. Three down, 13 to go. I need to roll this a little bit. Take this one off. Sorry, I'm just taking off one of my stitch markers. Okay. On to the next one. Yes, my students seem to be going all over the place this summer. I have some going to the Azores. I have one going to Brazil because his brother plays soccer down there. I'm just staying home. My wife and my son are going to England next week for a track and field tournament, and then again later on in the summer for another track and field tournament. They're going to check out the Commonwealth Games while they're over there. Luckily, we've got their passports sorted. So it'll just be me and the dogs for a few days. My hope is that I can do a co-working stream to start sorting out the doom pile of laundry I have in my laundry room. I'm trying to figure out logistically how I can do that with you guys. Like, how do I get the camera set up and stuff? But my last co-working session was really popular. So let's do it again. Okay. Almost to the next one. This is going faster than I thought it would. Maybe we will do some actual crocheting this evening. Okay. I think I do like having music in the background with streams. Those quiet moments don't feel as painful. Okay. Let's look. I'm dual streaming today, so I've got questions coming in from both sides. Well, one side right now. But what am I using? I've got a plastic darning needle. I think it's a 7-inch one. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and the color that I'm stitching with is called Buff. I'm using these snips. Yeah. And the music is from a channel called Solace Crossing. They're a channel that I listen to a lot, especially in my classroom. Basically, it's lo-fi beats set to Animal Crossing NPCs doing their thing. My students really have grown to enjoy it. And now, like, they want to play Animal Crossing this summer. If I'm getting kids turned on to Animal Crossing, that's not a bad thing. I just wish there was this way I could stream it. other than like camera looking at my Nintendo. But I don't think there is a way, is there? You know what I've noticed? When I'm crocheting and doing the crochet streams, or if I'm co-working and doing the co-working streams, I don't get spammers. When I'm playing Stardew Valley and doing Stardew Valley streaming, oh my gosh, like floods of them. And you could always tell they're like, oh, is it your first time playing this game? And then they tell me something I'm doing wrong with my channel. Oh, you need this. You need better emotes. You need better backgrounds. I can help you. Yeah, I'm sure you can. And they'll pay me like $90 for an emote that they got on Fiverr that 85,000 people have. Okay. Another rope. Oh. Yep. Thread another needle. Well, same needle. Yeah, so the plan is connect these 2 rows, weave in some ends, maybe crochet a little bit. I'm hoping the end weaving doesn't take me too long or doesn't get me too angry. Let's line up these ends. When does school get out? 4.5 school days. We had a big blizzard this year, and that was 7 snow days. And then we had a water well break in our school. That was another 2 days. So we've had 9 snow days altogether. We actually were supposed to finish school last Friday. Now I teach in Massachusetts. State of Rhode Island, which is right next door, they got a lot of their days waived. Like every day that was considered a state of emergency got waived. They didn't have to make those up. Massachusetts didn't do that. I don't know why. We were in the same situation. But hey ho. Yeah, that's why I'm still in school now. Yeah, for the most part, the teachers aren't teaching hardcore stuff, except for my 4th graders. They're still giving them tests and expecting them to retain knowledge. Like I had one kiddo that missed a test last week, and the teacher, after they got back from a field day, after they had been just chilling in the room for a while, oh, do you think so-and-so can make it this test right now? Like, after spending the day field tripping? But no, luckily she's going to take it with me tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning, before I go on my other field trip. Yeah, 4th grade's hardcore, man. When I taught middle school, which last year, and the year before that, and several years before that, it's never been this hardcore. But the teachers are like, oh, you're not going to be able to get away with this. You're not going to be able to do that in 5th grade. taught inclusion kids in 5th grade, in 6th grade, in 7th grade, and 8th grade. Most of my teaching career, like my educational work career, has been in middle schools. So I don't know. Maybe this middle school is just different than all of the other ones. And their expectations are super high. All I know is all of this talk about, you're not going to be able to do this next year. You're going to get in trouble for that next year. Freaks out my kids. Like, they've got anxiety issues to start with it. Now multiply that when they're getting told everything's going to get them in trouble. Which is why I think I need to be a bit more hardcore in my accommodations next year. Like, things that I just thought were not common sense, but good teaching practice. I need to make sure that those things are in place. Like, no, you're not going to take 4 tests in one day. We got to figure that out. These kids are like 10. Getting freaked out about taking tests. It's too early for that side of stuff. Still in elementary school. Anyway. You guys can figure out what kind of teacher I am straight away. But that being said, we had a data meeting today where we test the kids every trimester in reading through a program called Dibbles. And we had a meeting today to go over our Dibbles scores. And my kids are routinely the lowest in the grade. Just because of all of my students have reading disabilities of some sort. Some are dyslexic, some just have specific learning disabilities. Other kids have a tied into speech and language. There's kiddos that are ELL. Anyway, my kiddos did amazing. Like, the growth that they had was phenomenal. Well, let's put it this way. The numbers were great. Some of them went from like a 6 to a 61, but the grade level average is supposed to be 113. So are they reading at the same level as their peers? Absolutely not. Are they improving from where they were at the start of this year? Oh yeah. Which tells me whatever's going on for their reading is working. And with a lot of those kids, I'm their reading. Who knows? So yeah, I was happy with that. Dinner's ready. You guys coming over? Hi, Luna Dragon. How are you? Ooh, I need a hug. I did not double knot that. Okay. My mic is muted. Really? It's working on my end. That's weird. Can you hear the music? bizarre. Let me check something. That is so weird. What is going on? Oh, this is a bummer. What is going on? What is going on? Right. My phone settings have weakened work. How about now? Any good? Ugh. Right, that is set. My audio's on. Audio source is there. And now my closed captions are working. Can you guys hear me? Oh, wow. This is so weird. Sorry about that, guys. How about now? Anything? Ugh. Thank you for the follow, though. I appreciate it. Right, okay. Audio mixer. Everything's live. Oh my gosh. How's it going now? That's so weird. Right. Well, let me try something. I want to see if it's just, if I can get sound on my phone. Two, three, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yay. You know what I did? Turned it off and turned it back on again. Are you guys good? You can hear me? That is so weird. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. That is so weird. What's weird is that I'm dual streaming, and the YouTube side had people saying it was fine. That's weird. All right, I gotta get these closed captions smaller. That's what I added on today, and I bet you I goofed up something when I was putting in the closed captions, maybe? I don't know. Anyway. So now what I need to do is figure out how to make the closed captions smaller. I guess that'll be a project for a different day. Okay, where are my live captions? Oh, it looks a little better. Right? There we go. Okay, we're live. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Back to stitching together these rows. That's so weird. Anyway. At least with messing around, I was able to sort it out so I don't hear myself playing in my headphones, because that drives me bananas. All right, so we are how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5 out of 16 stitched up. Let's do another set. So tools that I'm using, stuff that I'm using, I've got this lovely plastic darning needle with a nice big eye that gives me no issues when I need to thread it. This is Red Heart Super Saver yarn. This color is buff. I'm not 100% what the solid blue is called, and I'm pretty sure this variegated one is like Dune or something like that. Dune. And I am just stitching together 2 rows of granny squares for a blanket that I've been working on and off since the winter. Yeah, I don't know what I did with the settings, but oh well. I'm also glad my captions are working now, because they weren't at the start of the stream. And I just said, oh, I'm going to give up. I'll worry about that a different day. Okay, now to line up the next one. Oh, oh, come on, out of my way. This is the back loop. Okay. Is that? Okay. I've got all these little strands hanging out, and it's gonna bug me. But when I'm done doing these stitches together, it'll be time to weave in some ends. Okay. So yeah, I've got 5.5 days of school left before regular school is done for the year. I started packing up my classroom today. I don't have too much stuff. I share a room with two other teachers, two other special education teachers. So I personally don't have a lot of room. That being said, last year at the school I worked in, I pretty much taught in the hallway. So I can't complain. But this year I share a room with three other teachers. And we all kind of have taken a corner of the room as our own. And my corner has the sink, which is quite nice. But I started packing away all of my teaching stuff and all of my crochet club stuff into my closets. I also got my summer school assignments. So I don't teach, I teach ESY, which is extended school year. It's in part of the special education program. And I don't teach it in the district that I work in. I teach it in the district that I live in, just because it's closer to home and their policies are a bit different, so there's more children involved. And I got my assignments today. Now, mind you, I am a third and fourth grade teacher this year. I have been mostly a middle school teacher or, educator for my 20-ish years of working in schools. And in this summer, I only have three students, but they're kindergarten. Three kindergartners, all three are on the spectrum. One of them uses a AAC device. All of them get OT, all of them get speech. I am so excited. Like, I wouldn't want to teach kindergarten full time, but every once in a while getting to just do play-based stuff is so nice. So I've already been kind of spinning my wheels thinking of stuff to do with them. It's going to be like all play based. I am not bringing my phonics curriculum. I'm not bringing my math curriculum. It's just, I'm going to integrate all that stuff into playtime. Especially since a lot of these kiddos that I'm getting this summer have IEP goals about waiting their turn and transitioning between activities and being able to ask for help in an appropriate way. So we will hit all of those buttons. Yeah, so I'm excited. At first I was like, oh my God, kindergarten. And then the more and more I started thinking about it, it's just, I think I'm just going to have fun with it. And then I'll go back to my third and fourth graders. No, you're good, Lunar. Don't worry about that. You do you. All right, I think I need to do one more stitch maybe I can get out of this. Okay. And let's tie that string off. Oh, I lost it again. Where's my hook? Did I put it back? Okay, that side is done. All right, I need a drink break. Hydration. Crocheting wheelchair lap dance. Oh, that's a good idea. Are you doing any kind of like pattern or specific stitch, or is it like granny squares? That sounds like a really good idea. I've got a couple of kids I know that are in wheelchairs, former students that would probably like that. Especially if I did them like if I did it, I can't think of how you say Anastasia, when you make the like the tapestry crochet. If I did something like that with their favorite characters or something like that, treble crochet. Oh, I was doing treble crochet earlier for one of these granny squares, and I always throws me for a loop. Like I look at it, and it's a little individual form, and I'm like, this looks so wiry, and but once you get them all together, it looks fine. Yeah, this is just a granny square blanket that I started working on this past winter, put down for a long time, picked up again recently. It was doing it, hating it. Some yellows can look really weird. Like I've got a yellow in my stash that's almost like a gray yellow. It looks weird. I always gravitate towards blues and grays and greens myself, obviously with this thing. But if I'm making stuff for myself, neon yellow. Oh. I've never done neon anything. That I think if I wanted to like push myself out of my crocheting comfort zone, I think neon colors would be one of the ways I would do that. Making foster kid blankets, yeah. Oh, the kids would love the neon. Like I know if I was making leggy frogs earlier this year, and now that I think about it, if I would have done those neon, that would have been kind of cool. Like a neon green leggy frog. All right, we are stitching right along on this one today. Nursing home patients, yeah. Well, you never know. Some of them might like neon. It was a bit of a blah. Yeah. What did you go with instead? What did you change out to? All right. Get these lined up correctly. I always block my crochet, my granny squares, because my tension can be all over the place at times. But that one was a tough one. I'm wondering if I dropped stitches on that one. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. We're doing pretty well with this one. I'm not looking forward to weaving in ends. That's my next step after all this. I don't wait till, on my TikTok, I had asked people, are you the type that weaves in like right away, or are you the type that waits and then does it all at the end? I'm kind of in between it. Like I will weave in at certain points, like when I'm done with these two rows putting together, I'll weave in everything. And then I'll make a whole bunch of squares and I won't weave them in. But when I'm putting them in the row, I might weave them. It's like, it really depends on my mood. I really just like weaving in ends, but I've had bad luck with like burning and melting ends. They come apart unless I like triple knot things. And okay, where is this connection? Right there. You weave as you go. Yeah. I wish I had the self discipline to do that. but I'm very much like, oh, I finished one. Let me go right into the next thing. All right, let's get this one unpinned. Get those lined up. God, my tension must have been either my tension was way off on one of those squares, or I must have dropped stitches because it is not lining up the way it should be. But it's the way it goes. So we've got 5 more pairs of squares before I'm done with my first set of rows for this granny square blanket. I'm pretty psyched. I really need to think about what I want to do this summer as far as crochet streams go. I do have my Monstera plant that we will continue to work on. Aren't these cute? I've got them hung up on my little stand here. So I do want to finish that. But my question that I'm kind of asking myself is, do I want to make more classroom stuff, or do I want to wait until the school year starts because the kids will inevitably ask me for crochet stuff? And then maybe just stick to doing like home decor things this summer. I'm not much of a wearables type crocheter. I usually stick with amigurumi type stuff, um, blankets. The one, I don't know if you probably can't see it. That one that I have on the back of my chair is a stitch sampler blanket that I did this winter that I love. I'm so glad I did it. Wasn't I saying? I was saying earlier in this stream that um, I don't get as much spam when I'm doing crochet streams, and I don't get as much spam when I'm doing co-working streams. But when I'm doing my Stardew Valley streams, holy smokes, it's crazy. And I'm seeing my little spam bot chat thing has already zapped 2 people. Where did it go? I just had a decent, like a 3 that I was using. Is it in here? Yeah, so the spam's a bit crazy. But I'm learning. I think I'm getting close to 2 months of streaming. And I'm having fun. I never thought 40-something-year-old me would be going on Twitch, but I'm having lots of fun. And it makes for good conversations with my students. I'll tell you why I started originally. I have 3 third graders who are absolutely convinced that they want to be YouTubers when they grow up. And they all know their niche that they want to do. So I've been trying to kind of incorporate that into our lessons. And one of the things is that one of the boys kept saying to me over and over again was, you don't need to read well to be a YouTube streamer. And I'm like, really? Let's think about that for a minute. So we started talking about like what you need to be able to read in order to be a streamer. So you need to be able to read the chat that people are talking to you about. You need to be able to read the contracts that you might sign with sponsors, all that kind of stuff. And at first they were like, no, you don't need to do all that. They can take care of that. Like, I'm like, who's taking care of that for you? you're not going to be living with mommy and daddy your whole life. So I've been doing a lot of lessons lately centered around streaming, writing like drafts of streaming ideas. I did a letter. They were writing a letter to a sponsor, responding to this fake sponsor offering that I created and gave to them. And they had to respond to the company, giving their terms and counter offering with terms, which was cute. My students are always telling me that I should try to get sponsored by Nido, the company that makes those squishies, because I use them a lot in my classes, both as just stress relievers and as rewards and stuff. And like, Miss, you should try to get uh, Nido to sponsor you, and you should ask your chats to reach out to Nido. And I'm like, no, good, I'm good, I'm good. I don't need to deal with sponsors in my life. I just want to stream and talk about my students in crochet. But at the very least, my streaming has given me a way to connect with the kiddos in a new way. Um, do I let them watch? So I thought about this for a while, and my students would always ask me for my log, like my usernames and things like that. And what I ended up doing was emailing all of their parents my information, and basically said to them, the parents in the email, what your child watches at home is completely up to you. Um, and the parents know that I stream, and they know that I have a TikTok and things like that. So I gave them my information. So now that when my students ask, "Hey, Miss Correa, what's your login?" or "What's not your login, but what's your username and what's your channel name?" I can say, "Your parents have it. If they are okay with you watching it, you can ask them for it." So it's not like I do not give out my information to my students. I give it to their parents so their parents can make that decision. And that's how I handle it. I have had a couple of kids pop in, um, mostly on YouTube Live. I've only had one on Twitch, and I've had a couple on YouTube Live, and some of them will watch my videos after they've already been posted, like the restreams and stuff. So yeah, that's how I handle that end of things, because I don't want to give out social media information to kids whose parents might not want them online watching Twitch, watching YouTube. So that's a decision they make for themselves with my information. I do work with other educators who have pretty hardcore social media presence, like quite popular on TikTok, and they do teacher stuff. And I know they pretty much do the same, um, where they leave it up to they make the parents basically be the ones that are the holder of that information. So yeah, we're getting there. This keeps getting twisted. That's why I keep lifting it up. What you're not seeing is I'm letting it hang so it can untwist itself. I realize when I do that, I completely block the camera view. So I'm very sorry about that. I think I need to figure out how to do a new font for my closed caption. That'll be a mission for me to do tomorrow while I'm hanging out with my students and when they're watching movies and things like that. Okay, almost done with this square. Making sure those edges, corners line up correctly. All right, two more left. Ooh. Okay. Itchy nose. Everything's itchy right now. Thank you, Pollen. Okay. Where is my loop? There we go. We are almost there. I can see the end. And then we got some ends to weave. Okay. Might need to get one more length of yarn for this last square and a half of joining. I'm into the music today. Almost there. See, now I think I might have done an extra stitch because this one's buckling up a bit when I just joined the corners together. Or again, my tension was all wonky and it didn't sort itself out when I was blocking it. Okay, so I'm gonna tie off this string and we'll do one more to finish off the whole set of rows. Okay, one more. Hi, Cadbury. My dog's behind me. Sometimes she wants to jump up on my lap and say hi to you guys, but looks like she's just chilling right now, laying on the floor. She's not really poking me to come say hi. Maybe I should make that like a goal thing. If you give me, what are they called, bits? Yeah. So many bits, you get a visit from Cadbury, the Boxador. All right. Almost there. All these ends. I've seen those little gadgets that are out that like you burn the end of your stitches and they somehow magically don't um, unravel. I used to do the whole like burn the end and with a lighter. but I've had stuff come apart when I do that. All right, we've got one Grady square left. One pair to put together. Okay. Look at that. Halfway through that one. I need to get something to put on this edge of my table because every time I stream, this happens. And it's starting to get sore. You see? Like, because I lean on the edge of the desk while I'm crocheting. Because I don't crochet up or like in my lap. I need to get some kind of thing to put on the corner so it doesn't dig into me as much. All right, we are almost there. So exciting. All right, I just want to make sure that these corners match up. I think one more stitch and we can call it good. Nice. Woo! All right, let's take a look at it. That over there for a second. We've done it. 2 rows together. Yeah, that looks awesome. I'm so glad. This is definitely one of those mistakes that I realized I did. You guys notice what the problem is? I used blue thread or blue yarn to connect those two, but neither of these are blue on the outside. So it's a bit obvious. Okay, I think we should go back to the beginning and start weaving in some ends. So let me just slide everything over. And we can get to weaving. Now for this, I do want a crochet hook. Probably a 3. Where did my 3 go? It's on the floor. Oh, sorry, Cadbury. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah, you do. Look at. Oh, the people see you. Say hi. He's a good girl. It's the Cadbury show. It's the Cadbury show. All right, baby. Go sit down. We'll come play later. All right? Just watch your feet. Okay. All right, this is a 3, right? Although there's my 3. Put that back. Here's my 3. And we're going to do some end weaving. Wonder if I should bring you guys in closer. A little better? Yeah. Is there like a method you're supposed to use for weaving ends? I just tend to go in a couple of different directions, so in case it gets pulled in any specific way, it's not going to completely unravel. And I'll do that a few different times in a few different directions, and then I'll cut it and call it done. Let's fix the face cam. That's a better view for you guys. I probably should do it a bit closer, just in general. All right, where else can I go with this one? I think we'll do 2 more weaves and then call it good. Just going to put that little loop part in there. And then snips, where did you go? Snips, there you are. All right, that one is done. And here, a couple on my side. Let's tie these 2 together. Okay. Yeah, if there's any kind of tried and true method to doing weaving in ends, I'm self-taught, so that's just something I didn't read or something I didn't watch a video for. There we go. Hydration time. I'm getting thirsty. All right. Oh, weaving in ends. I wonder if I should update my title. I probably should. All right, there we go. Slightly updated. Now people that are expecting to come in and see some joins will not be disappointed. All right, where do I want to go for this one? I don't want to cross into a different square. And I also don't want to go through the same part I just did with the other end. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm self-taught, so a lot of these rules and whatnot. Yeah. Maybe one more. Or two more. That way I can end it in this little cluster right here. Okay. Here we go. Some more ends. We got two here. Can you tell I listen to this a lot? Motorcycles. So I got my windows open today because it's not that hot that we need the air conditioner on, but it's still kind of wham. So you guys are hearing the lovely street noise. Which usually isn't too bad. I mean, every once in a while you get the little dirt bikes coming by, or you get the really loud, like, motorcycles. Okay, that one's in. This is a little tiny one. Where is it going to go? What direction are we going in? Let's go this way. Am I able to get it down to that cluster? See these pieces, like these right here? Move my hand. Where a whole bunch of stitches come together, like if 3 double crochets are together in one chain, I try to hide my ends in those pieces. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, if there is a supposed to do for this kind of stuff, but that's what I do. Yeah, cut that one off. All right, get this big boy. See, I'll probably fish it through these 2 clusters down here. So let me get to there first. There's a cluster I can get it through. Go. And can I go in a different direction? I could go through this cluster up here and then go down a little bit. Okay. There we go. And then I'll just do a couple of down below, and then I'll cut that one off. Put that in. Yeah. Sometimes I'm tempted to burn them, other times not so much. Oh, another one right here. Weaving in ends is definitely something that I have not taught my beginner crocheters at school yet. But so we only the last session for Crochet Club for after school was 8 weeks, and the first week we did slip knots on and then chain. The second week we did single crochet. We did single crochet for a few more sessions after that. Um, I did have a couple of the more advanced students go on to half double and double. But for the most part, the kiddos were just happy making little single crochet creatures. My favorite one, I gotta say, there was this one kid who had this neon yellow yarn. Um, and she made a chain that was like really crooked. It was kind of loose, and you could tell that she doubled up in some chains and stuff. And she's like, "Look, look! I made a Cheeto," and it looked just like a Cheeto. So that's all she wanted to do for the rest of the crochet sessions. And she ended up making like this little collection of Cheetos. And then she said, this summer she's going to make a bag to go with it. And I told her I want to see it because she's in third grade. So she'll be in my building next year for fourth grade. But I was like, it's so cool. I'm pretty sure I have a TikTok of it up. Some of like the unhinged things that my students made with like the sentient pancake and things like that. That was a fun crew, that last crochet session. And I've got kids asking me if I'm going to do it again next year, and I told them, yep, that's my plan. Let's see if I can get it through this cluster. And we can call that one good. Yeah. Okay, so let's check again. So we're good. We're good up to that point. Okay. What I might do is do all of the front, flip it, and do all of the back. That would probably make the most sense instead of just trying to flip flop the whole time. So I've got this little blue baby who looks very precarious. You're going to get knotted because you're about to slip out. What, I don't know what I did there, but that one was about to just unravel. That's better. Okay, so let's get that one. I'm thinking I want to get it down to this cluster down here. But I'll have to work that down the treble crochet first. Here we go. Change direction a little bit. And then maybe this little group right here. Here we go. Okay. There's a little itty bitty one over here. I might just weave that into the chain because it's so small. I'm not going to be able to get it into a cluster, so I think I'll just weave it in the chain. Oh, I split that yarn. I'm like, why isn't it behaving? Oh, split again. Good old Red Heart Super Saver. The splittiest yarn, but you know what? It gets the job done. And teacher salary means I can't go out and buy like the whole fancy stuff. All right, that looks good. Let's cut that one off. And of course, my snips are MIA. That's on the other side, so we'll leave that one. Actually, is it on the other side? This is another one. What am I doing? That's not even like together all the way. Let's fix that. I don't know what I was thinking or drinking when I did this one. Tie that one in a knot. It'll let me. Yeah, okay, that's a little better. That's a big gap. I guess I'll deal with it when I come to joining the next row or when I do my border. All right, I'm going to try to get this one down into a cluster though. So tomorrow is a field trip with my third graders. We're taking a walk to a historical old schoolhouse. So it was like a one-room schoolhouse that's been preserved by the historical society in the town that I work in. So we're gonna go take a little walk down there tomorrow, check it out, and then walk back. Okay. This is another one that's really, I don't know what I was thinking. It'll all figure itself out. Let's try to get it into this one. We'll try to get it into this one right here. How can I make it down there? I think I'll weave it into this treble. If the treble will let me. Doesn't seem like it wants to. All right, I'll do this one. Give me a shout if I ever come out of shot for you guys, because I'm not paying as much attention as I probably should be to the camera angle. But let me know. Just give me a poke. Okay. Do I want to call that done? Let's do a couple in a different direction, and then we'll call it done. Yeah, so field trip tomorrow, and I need to figure out a way not to get sunburned. Because I've been on 2 field trips this year so far, and both of them I were sunburned. And I wear SPF 70. I have arm sleeves. I'm going to wear a t-shirt. But inevitably, I will get sunburned. It's because I'm on 2 different types of medication that make you susceptible to the sun. Like I was out for recess today. I know ordinarily don't go out for recess. I usually have students during like their recess times. Like when the 4th graders are at recess, I usually have my 3rd graders and then vice versa. But because the 4th graders went on a field trip today, they had a different recess. So I went out with them just to kind of hang out. And I didn't see my kids at all today because they were off on the field trip. And I was out there for 20 minutes and look at 20 minutes, guys. You see it? And this is what I wore to work, my Pingu dress. So yeah, I'm a hot mess. And I used to be a lifeguard. Like when I was a teenager, I would be out in the sun all day with SPF 30, if that, at a beach, and I would never get this bad. Like I would maybe get one bad burn a year. And now it's like if I look outside funny, I get a sunburn. So yeah, maybe I'm assuming it's the meds. Or maybe it's just age. My ears hurt. I need to find ways to get these not to hurt my ears as much. I'm just a wimp. I am just a wimp. All right, I'll leave those blue ones. I'll leave those blue ones for the other side. We'll do this one now. See my little Minnie? She's stuck on there for good. I actually kind of use her as a guide of where, if I know if I'm around Minnie, I'm in shot. Okay. What am I doing with this one? Probably going to try to get it into here, into that cluster. Should I come down more? There we go. Get zoomed in. Usually I'm way far back, but I don't know. I'm kind of liking this change in angle, or change in distance, rather. You'll have to tell me if you guys like it better or not. All right, let's get that through this little grouping right here. And not call that one good. All right, that's it for that side. Flip her over. Look at all those ends. Oh, I've even got a center end. I usually weave those in straight away. Like I just make them part of my original first round. Oh dear. All right, so what's next? These ones. I have an itchy eyebrow. That's better. Oh, what's that? Oh, I didn't get that on that side. Is that a... I'm just trying to figure out what this is. I think this is just what I use to connect the rows. So I'm not going to be too hardcore on it. There we go. So what are you guys thinking of the captions? I saw it on a different... I was hanging out watching other crochet streams, as you do. Because I kind of want to get information about what works and what doesn't. Not that I'm like copying anybody's style or anything, but Just little things like closed caption, which makes perfect sense to me. And I love using closed caption at work, um, because it does help with their reading. But I know myself that a lot of times I will like watch TikTok or YouTube videos on mute, like silently, and having the closed caption there is great. I don't need to turn the volume up if I don't want to. Hmm. Okay, let's get this one. Mm, 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 mm. So 5.5 days left of work. Tomorrow is a field trip for my third graders. Thursday is a cookout with the local fire and police department. And then an ice cream truck will come for the kids. Friday is Juneteenth, so we don't have school. Monday we get back is another field trip for my fourth graders. We're going bowling. Tuesday is graduation practice for my fourth graders. And then that night they have graduation. And then the Wednesday is a half day. And then that's the school year done. And then for me on the Friday, I have my first day of ESY, which is just summer school. So I'm going to go in from, full-time teacher mode to part-time teacher mode. And luckily, ESY only lasts like 6 weeks or so, and it's only a couple of days a week for half a day. So it's not very long and arduous. It's just enough time to go in, get some time in with kids so they don't completely like fall out of the whole rhythm of school. I get a nice little paycheck for the summertime in addition to my um, balloon payments for the summertime. Yeah, the way my school does it, you can choose two ways. Either you get one big massive payment right before the end of the school year, and then you don't get paid at all during the summer, or you can continue getting paid during the summer. So my checks are a little bit less every month, um, so that I will get regular pay during the school year. Teachers do not get paid during the summer for summer school. Like for summer, obviously I get paid for summer school, but there's this kind of misconception that teachers get paid during vacation. No, you're just getting the money that you worked for during the school year. So that's how that works. The more you know. So yeah, I chose the get paid every other week method because my brain isn't great at budgeting. What do I want to do with this one? I think for this stitch has got to be it. You gonna let me in? No. All right, that one's not gonna let me in. So let's flip it and reverse it. Thank you, Missy. There we go. Here we go. Moving right along. Oh, we got this one up here. This little baby. I think I'm just going to weave that into the chain. So hello to the lurkers. You are very welcome to lurk. I am a lurker myself when it comes to watching Twitch. I might just say hi, how's it going, and then chill and watch. If you're not sure what to talk about, I always love hearing about what people are working on for their own crochet projects, if you're working on one, or what's the latest video games you're playing. Oh, this is just being a hot mess. Look how, ugh. Red Heart is so splitty. Let's see if I can twist that back in. Oh, I talked about lurkers and then they left. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't mention you anymore. I still love you though. Oh, it's birdie o'clock. So if you've been on my streams before, you know that my son has a green sheet conure. And around 7:30 at night is when she comes out of her day cage to just fly around and have some fun. She's early today. It's not even 7:30 yet. 7:03. So what usually happens is that I go into the bedroom with the dogs, so Birch, the conure, can fly around. And that works out fine during, the winter time when it's dark and I can just get all cozy in bed and watch some YouTube. But right now, it's really bright out and I'm having fun with you guys. So I'm not going to want to go to bed at 7:30. Go into bed. I'm not falling asleep at 7:30. I'm not going to want to go into bed at 7:30. Which means the dogs need to go by themselves, which inevitably turns into Cadbury, who is the one you saw earlier today, mooing, making her little moo sounds at the door for me to come and give her a cuddle. So, but it sounds like she's calmed down a little bit, so maybe she's just heard a blue jay or something. Weaving in ends. Drink time. All right, let's finish this bottle off. All right, that'll go in the recycling bin later on. All right, got another center. Oh, time for this ear to start hurting. Okay. So summer plans. Summer plans. What are my summer plans? I'm doing summer school, like I mentioned. And I think I just want to stream a lot. Get the house cleaned as much as I can. Because I've got a giant doom pile of laundry that I need to figure out how I'm going to include into a co-working stream. It might be a multi-part one. I'm thinking I'll do that one on Thursday night, maybe, or Thursday or Friday night. Because my wife and son are going to a track meet this weekend, so I can put the camera in places and not have to worry about them being in the shot. So maybe I'll do that Thursday night, Friday night. And then I actually need to come up with some sort of semblance of a schedule for streaming. Like, really? I do. Right now it's very ad hoc. But from what I've learned is that Twitch viewers like schedules. So they know, oh, SJ Crochet is going to be on at 6 o'clock on Thursday doing a crochet stream, or she's going to be on at 2:30 on Saturday doing a Stardew Valley playthrough. I'm not there yet, but I'm hoping once the school year is done, I can come up with some kind of schedule. Oops. That one got splitty too. There we go. Oh, that's really tiny. I feel like I've moved my face cam like 3 times in the last hour. Okay. Move on. This ugly thing. Look at it. I don't know what I was thinking. I realized it as soon as I tied it off. It was like, oh, yeah, I made a mistake. I'm wondering if I can weave it into the blue one that's diagonally across from it. I don't know if it's going to let me. Okay. All right, that one's done. Okay. Mm-mm. Maybe I should crochet something Pride themed on stream. I did make my classroom goose a poncho that was rainbow. What's this all about? That doesn't look very good. You see this? This is way too loose. Right, I need to do something about this. Can I knot this? Okay, that's a little better. That's better. Okay. I can't tell which ones are the granny squares that I made recently or the ones that I made during the winter time. My tension was definitely different in the winter time. Do you guys notice that? Is your attention different, like depending on, like I think it's because I was on the couch, so my tension was different. The way my hand was just different. Oh, I need to do something with this end. Hmm. All right, let's do one more and cut off the rest. I'm pretty sure I did this one in the wintertime because I've been leaving myself um, a lot longer ends recently, so it'd be easier to weave. But winter me didn't think of that. What should I make for rainbow? What do I want to make? I'm not a wearables type of person. Like I don't tend to make wearables. Although that being said, one of my students keeps asking me to make him a hat. Hacky sacks seem to be the cool thing to crochet right now. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Maybe go online and be like, what should I crochet for Pride? Ugh. Right. I think I'm going to call it a day. And we'll come back to this next time. Let's go raid somewhere. Hmm. Who else is crocheting right now? We'll go there.